So here I am at Body Computing 2016, where it's all being, it's finished actually, everyone's gone home. But I was one of the judges for the VR hackathon looking to build the medical empathy machine. There were 3 finalists yesterday, and the winner was We Are Alfred by Embodied Labs, and we've got Ryan and Carrie here, who won the $10,000 prize. And I thought I'd catch up with them, to be honest, and make a little video for you, because I actually tried the experience in full just now, it's 7 minutes long, and wanted to talk more about how it made me feel when I tried it on now in full, but then also to hear a bit more about the story, what you're up to now, what you're going to do with the $10,000 prize, what are your next steps, and where you see this going, and also at the end to ask people watching the video if there's something you're looking for to take you to the next level, what is it that you need, and somebody out there watching this video on YouTube may go, oh wow, you know, I've got something for these folks, or yeah, we can use your application, or etc. So we'll take it from there. So introduce yourselves, please, and then we'll talk a little bit about the experience.
Great. I'm Carrie. I'm a
You
medical...
have to speak up a little bit, Carrie, I'm afraid.
I'm Carrie, and I'm the founder of Embodied Labs. I'm also a medical illustrator with a background in public health and health education.
And I'm Ryan. I have a background in film directing and theater directing, and I'm a co-founder of Embodied Labs.
And Embodied Labs is based in Chicago in the United States, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the experience, so I just tried with the this is the Oculus Rift, and what is this thing on here?
It's a Leap Motion.
Okay, Leap Motion. So this is what, so when I was in there, and so I put on the headset and I was transported to this birthday party, it felt very real, and the family around me who were helping me celebrate my birthday were African American. And when I looked down at my hands, I could see that my hands were darker than they are currently in terms of they felt, I was like, whoa, my hands are now, I'm like an African American. So that's part of the experience as well, to immerse yourselves in the shoes of somebody who's a 74-year-old African American man. And then there was this big black blur, which is where this is the age-related macular degeneration. It gives you an idea of what it's like. And then there were several, what I noticed as well, that, you know, when I was moving my hands, there was a scene where I was reminiscing about it being on a mountain or on a cliff with some flowers, and I could even pick a flower with my hands in VR. That was really strange and novel. And then also I remember taking the MOCA test, which is one of the tests for measuring your cognitive health. And I was filling in this MOCA test with the paper, and I could pick up the pencil in VR, and actually I could see how difficult it was to like fill in the paper in VR in terms of the test. And then what I also found really interesting was the fact that when I was in there with the doctor and he was telling me that, you know, I've got a hearing problem, he said this will make your hearing better. He gave in the experience like a hearing aid, and then I was able to touch that, and then suddenly I could hear properly. And it was really interesting for me to, I mean, I've read books about Alzheimer's, and I've read books about age-related macular degeneration. I've studied it, I've researched it, but to actually, and even people have told me what it's like, but to be able to feel what it's like a bit more, I mean, it was definitely a step forward compared to the other routes I've had so far in understanding what it's like to live with these conditions and how they can progress. So back to you now. I mean, so tell me a little bit about the story of how you, in terms of why you did this in a nutshell, and you know, Carrie and Ryan.
Yeah, so my biggest inspiration for this started 10 years ago when I began my journey with my mom and her experience with early onset Alzheimer's, and me being her primary caregiver throughout her journey. And I always thought, what is she seeing? What is she hearing? And if I could be inside of her brain and see and hear through her ears and eyes, what would I be able to do better for her as a caregiver? And so that question that started 10 years ago just kind of evolved with who I became in my interests as someone who wanted to do public health education and had an interest in art and visualization, to say, what if we really could put people into other worlds? And so what we created here that you just tried isn't really an experience of dementia. It's saying, what is it like to be an elderly person?
Yes, yes.
Because part of what's really important in what we're trying to do is say, how can we make something that's scientifically accurate,
Yes.
that's relevant, that's teaching healthcare providers in training or in practice these experiences that they might not ever be able to have themselves. And through virtual reality, they can have those experiences. So we're exploring what we can do with science, with art, and with storytelling to really communicate training to help people learn how to be better healthcare professionals.
Yeah, what excites us the most about VR is that not only can we simulate the vision impairment and the auditory impairment, but we can add on all of those other layers that you mentioned. So we can add on the other layer of embodying another race. We can add on another layer
Another gender.
Another gender, exactly. The other layer of interacting with your family. And so there are all of these, you're completely immersed in a whole new world than you could have ever imagined before.
And you're no longer limited to just, what are these physical disabilities of this person? You say, okay, yeah, they're experiencing something challenging, but they still are this person and they have a life and a story, which I think is important for someone in the health profession. Sometimes training focuses a lot on pathology, what's wrong, what does the patient have that you have to fix, and some of this can highlight what does the patient have that they already came in with that you're not addressing or you're not fixing, but is still such a part of their health and why they're in front of you. And in terms of the race, why we chose Alfred to be African American, in the U.S., the majority students are white. 24 years old is the average. 24 to 26 is the average age of a medical student. And so we said, well, the research shows if you embody someone that's a different race or a different social outgroup than you, you actually will have, you will not be as racist or biased towards these outgroups. So why not take the opportunity to put the majority student into the minority's body and let them, look around at their family who is, all African American and say, experience what it's like to be one of a minority race in a room full of other people that are around you, or embody someone that is African American.
I mean, do you have a big vision that you're working towards with Embodied Labs above and beyond, we are Alfred?
Yeah, our plan is we want to make a library of patient experience labs. And within our mission, not only are we creating the VR experiences, which is what you tried, but we're also creating attached curriculum that facilitates the learning. So just like the discussion that we're having right now about what we learned, what the experience was like, that's all going to be wrapped into a software platform that we're building that will be deliverable on Windows PC.
So imagine, you've gone through a chemistry lab maybe in your life, or a biology lab, or some kind of anatomy dissection lab. Embodied labs are the labs of the future. So you are experiencing the patient in VR, but that VR experience isn't it. It's what happens when you put the headset on, take it off, reflect, discuss with your peers. Okay. And then what happens beyond that when you continue to reflect and continue to integrate what you know about your life and your experience in med school, or as a nurse, or as a CNA, and you pull all of that in and really can solidify some training that can give you the skills and the tools to take care of your patients.
Wonderful. And then, obviously you've won a $10,000 prize, but if you're a startup these days, it's not going to take you that far. what are you looking for? If people are watching this video and they're really interested in learning more about your work, they want to get in touch. What is it specifically? Are you looking for collaborators, research protocols, investors? What is it that hardware manufacturers? What is it that you're looking for to help you reach your vision?
Great question. I think the first thing we're looking for is investors that really identify with what we're doing, why we're doing it, and that want to be an early stage investor for a company like us. So we're looking for someone to fund our seed stage to get us to that next level. Second, we already have a group of beta customers, of academic institutions, simulation centers, and we want to grow that number and say, if you could see this being important in your training, then let us know. We want you to be our next customer. And then finally, once we do have that funding, we want to grow our team, and we want to have people on our team that are excited about VR and our mission and our vision, and can join our team and really dream big and put in the hard work to take our company above and beyond where we are now.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Those
Cool.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Well, it's getting late here in Los Angeles, so we're going to wrap this up here, but it's been a pleasure to talk with you and meet with you and learn about the amazing work you're doing, and I'm sure everybody watching the video as well wishes you the world of success. If they want to get in touch with you, the website is, what is the website for the...
embodiedlabs.com.
Okay.
And my email is ryan@embodiedlabs. Hers is carrie@embodiedlabs.com.
And that's the Carrie, Carrie, at embodiedlabs.com.
That's right.
And our Twitter handle is just @embodiedlabs. Same with Facebook, Embodied Labs.
Okay.
We'd love to hear from everyone, even if we're just interested and excited about our idea. But yeah, please reach out. We're ready to take off.
Excellent.
Great.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.